Welcome back to This is Van Color. Vancouver has the highest rents in the entire country, with the current average asking price for a rental apartment listed at over $3,300 a month, as market rents throughout BC are up over 10% in the last year. But sometimes what's worse than the sticker shock of a rental unit is the nightmarish conditions that landlords demand of tenants. Documenting some of these absurd rental listings is a local TikTok phenomenon at Melty Headpats. She is Papa. And returning to the show to explain if these type of listings are even legal is Vancouver City Councillor Christine Boyle. Christine, Papa, thanks for being on the show tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Papa, so you've been investigating these rental units. What are some of the weirdest conditions that you've seen on these rental listings?
Yeah. So pretty common ones are like no noise, no party, no guests.
Sorry, no noise?
No noise. Yes, I've seen actually no noise.
And no guests?
No guests.
Okay.
No cooking strong or pungent herbs, no cooking garlic or onion, no frying with oil.
So they're dictating your diet and culinary activities as well.
Yeah, I've also seen no cooking in the room.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Christine, that can't be legal, can it?
So I think we know the rental situation is so desperate. People sign these absurd leases because they just need a place to live. Mm-hmm. I am sorry to be the bearer of bad news in saying most of those are not illegal. What matters really is it written into the lease, not just on the listing, but in the lease? And then is it enforceable? So no cooking garlic, no noise. They are legal. Are they enforceable? It's really about, is it doing harm? So you can imagine a situation where if there's an extreme allergy in the building, maybe there's a reason, or somebody works nights.
Okay.
But for the most part, they're not legal.
Even no guests? You can have that into a lease?
No guests is the one exception. So actually the RTA is the rental tenancy agreement very clear that you can't prohibit guests. And what I hear all the time is that is one of the rules that is most often broken by landlords who do try to enforce that rule. It's illegal to say no guests. Your landlord cannot ban you from having guests.
Even if it's in the lease agreement and you
absolutely
sign it. They
not
can't be
enforceable.
Enforced. Okay. Papa, you've also brought up a lot of rental listings that basically barter rent in different ways. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I've seen some that are barter for rent. So it was a $75 a month discount for 10 to 20 hours of work per month.
So 10 hours worth of work and you get $75 off a month?
Yes. But,
so $7.50.
But in the listing, it said 10 to 20 hours at minimum wage, but then was absolutely not reflected whatsoever in the discount of the rent. And also regular chores like vacuuming, taking the trash out, all that stuff, that did not count.
Wow.
At all for your 10 to 20 hours.
So Christine, is serfdom legal? Can you basically work off your rent for less than minimum wage or at minimum wage?
Again, I am very sorry to say it's not illegal. It's very messy, arguably unethical. Certainly if you're paying far below a minimum wage, it brings up all sorts of issues about workplace safety.
Yeah.
What if you get sick? Are you going to get sick and lose your home? I mean, it's incredibly messy, but it is not illegal. And it goes back to the desperate situation so many renters are in just being able to find a place they can afford to live and then signing.
And I can understand that there may be some occupations where, there is kind of a discounted rent situation if it's an au pair or, a live-in maid, I suppose. But can you actually be bartering for less than minimum wage? Like that seems illegal based on labor laws, right?
It is legal if that's the lease agreement that you sign, because it's not the type of job that would fall under labor laws unless you're running. It gets into a lot of details. If they're running a home business and you are functionally an employee of the business, then there are important questions you should be asking about worker safety, worker compensation, and all of that. But household chores, it's really a massive gray area.
Papa, when you go through these listings, did you assume that this stuff was illegal, or did you actually think that you've seen it so many times that I guess probably it is legal?
I thought it was, I thought if it's in writing, it could be held up as legal. I didn't agree with it, but I guess if it's in writing and you sign it, then it could hold up.
And you've seen some other weird conditions as well with regard to even access to the unit as a tenant, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've seen like to not be in the house between certain hours, or it'll say like tenant is expected to go to school or work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5.
So tenants, so I get this straight. So tenants who are paying money to live in a basement suite or a unit are explicitly told that on a weekly, regular, daily basis, they cannot access their unit in certain hours.
Yeah, don't live there.
This can't be legal.
I'm so
what?
sorry.
Are you kidding me?
It's not illegal. Again, it gets back to, is it written into your lease? And is it enforceable? And I think the question to be asking is around harm. Is it causing significant harm to someone else in the building? So if you are home and making very loud noise during the day and somebody in another unit works from home, maybe you can see there's something written in there for that reason. But for the most case, I would say something in your lease that says you can't be in the home. It's not illegal, but it's also not enforceable.
So let's say someone has these conditions as a landlord to the tenant, right? And they say that you have to meet all these conditions. You can't cook. You can't be in your apartment or suite at a certain time. And the tenant breaks those conditions. The landlord then can kick them out? Is that what I'm hearing?
I have one more terrible piece of news.
Please.
Which is if you live in a suite with your landlord, so if you're in a home, you're renting out a room, it's your landlord's place. And particularly what to note is if you're sharing a kitchen or washroom with the owner of the suite, with the landlord, you don't even, the RTA doesn't even apply to you. So we've talked about all of the things that fall under the RTA. But if you're in one of those situations or you're subletting, that doesn't apply to you anyway. So you have even fewer rental protections if you're just renting a room from a landlord or you're subletting from someone.
Well, this has been eye-opening and very depressing. Christine, thank you for providing us these very grim answers. Papa, thanks for everything that you do on TikTok to expose these apparently legal but very strange rental listings. And thank you both for your time tonight. Very appreciated.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Folks, what a duo. That was Vancouver City Councillor Christine Boyle giving us the alarming truth about what landlords can get away with. And of course, that was TikTok star Papa. Find her at Melty Head Pats on TikTok. Now up next, can we just tax our way out of the housing crisis? Let's find out up next.